to the Festival of the Gods. It's a bonanza of colours and sights, from the light blue shiny buntings which adorn the streets, to the many small sigils and arcane runes which provide a homely glow to Aurophia. The iron-clad portcullis raises, and the waves of newcomers are immediately visible. The valued nobles from the nearby continents are the most notable. They stand out with their wonderfully decorative clothing, a bouquet of blues and whites from the nearby lands of grouse.
Horus, the festival appears to be a magnificent success once again.
An aged voice echoes in a tall chamber at the very peak of Aurophia. Marvelous. See to it that it remains that way.
Of course, your majesty.
Of note from the Festiva Deus is a fortune-telling tent. It features a wonderfully charismatic figure, a female human dressed in magical purples and pinks who goes by the name Mademoiselle. A child enters her tent, a male half-elf dressed in an elegant suit, aged roughly 10 to 13. He pays a 2 gold bill for a fortune-telling, and Mademoiselle asks for the gentleman's hand and introduces himself as Eshi. In an instant, she recoils in horror. In the gentleman's hand, Mademoiselle sees the symbol Aurophia, several scythes overlapping each other, surrounded by a dashed line circle. She stops the palm reading and conjures up an arcane sigil to contact the High Court of Aurophia. A gruff yet robotic voice, accompanied by whirring, attends to the call.
Grosh, you must listen.
Mademoiselle begins.
I fear for the lives of everyone here. I see the symbol of the Aurophia in my client's palm.
Mademoiselle, you must refrain from contacting the High Court of non-emergency issues. We have warned you of this before. Your fortune-telling does not constitute us diverting city resources on the whim of your arcane trickery.
You are wrong. A great misfortune shall fall before us tonight unless we take action immediately.
The magical call ends. Mademoiselle apologizes profusely to the guest she has kept waiting before storming out of the tent to prevent what she believes is the calamity of Aurophia. Another tent that is of note tonight is the Warriors Guild tent, manned by the ever-revered Mant, looking for new candidates that he may train in his wake. Various would-be warrior teenagers flock to the tent in the hopes of learning something they may take back to their own kingdoms. Mant trains them in kindness for a modest fee of 25 gold. Over the course of the equivalent of half an hour, Mant and his team of warriors engage the teens for a somewhat rigorous course of athletic and reaction-based training, from testing their ability to block with a sword and shield rapidly from multiple sides to dodging out of the way of a formidable foe's attack. What Mant wasn't expecting was a particularly adept teen, a rather shy human who refused to give his name. He proved to be exceptional in the training, which begged the question why he was even here to begin with on a relatively beginner-level course. He responds with,
Your own hubris shall be your downfall, Mant. We shall make sure of it.
Mant gazes down. A red liquid pours out of his body. He brings the liquid to his mouth, a familiar taste. His own blood. The human is gone in an instant. After receiving some healing magic provided by the clerics on site, Mant rushes out of the tent in a furious attempt to help this child see the light. Newcomers to the Festiva Deus may also record the stunning Arcanist Guild tent, a place where any being, be it human, elven, or monster, may come to the Arcanist in search for the training of their innate gift of magic. In the discussion of which is the most beautiful tent, the Arcanist Guild is frequently mentioned, with its dazzling arrays of shades of blues and whites, ribbons and swathes adorning the tent like the deity Aurora herself placed them there. Aurophia is typically known for its discovery in the arcane field, especially with the recent discovery of chaos magic, and so it's no surprise that the Arcanist Guild is the most popular tent in the festival. Hundreds of people queue up in the hopes of learning something new about magic. Orkfall, the chief arcanist in Aurophia, sees this tent. He partakes in delivering the fascination that leaves children astonished and bewildered, and having learnt a new spell or two. Orcfall's favourite spell to teach is known in Aurophian as Great Gross do Fall, loosely translating to the Gross do Fall, or more commonly known as cleaning up magic. Great Gross do Fall takes whatever is considered an unwanted result in the realm of cleanliness and cleans it up. It's a relatively simple spell which astonishes children at the amount of times they can get messy from a day's worth of play and clean it up as if it never happened. It's a boon to parents of these arcanists too, as they admonish the responsibility of cleaning up after their children's mess. This year, however, something happened which left Orcfall traumatized. Upon reaching roughly the middle of the extensive line of adorable children wanting to learn magic, in his demonstration of Great Gross do Fall, he feels his mouth contort and say something else. Quick, Gross, die. Streaks of electrical energy and strikes the child down, knocking them unconscious. In a frightened daze, Orcfall orders his team to help the child recover as he portals away to report this incident and look at the arcane log to see what forced him to cast a damaging spell. Mademoiselle, Mant and Orcfall all rush through the busy streets of Aurophia and into the Grand Hall, a mainly administerial place for processing legal and arcane matters in Aurophia. They happen to bump into each other hurriedly as they find out they were here on similar terms.
Gentlemen, please tell me my misfortune hasn't fallen upon you both as well. The gods have foretold this and the High Council would listen.
What the fuck do you think happened, Mads? I got sliced by some kid and I saw him run into it. Get the fuck out of my way. I'm gonna find this kid.
Oh dear, some high arcanist bit my mouth to strike a child with a harmful spell. The child I saw run into here as well. I fear that we have been led on a wild goose chase. The doors to the Grand Hall shut unexpectedly and stay locked with an arcane ward. Over the course of a few minutes, cries and thumping swarm the doors to the Grand Hall, which all fall on deaf ears. Magic is useless here as well, as the door prevents any spell being cast whilst within the Grand Hall. The ceremony of the Festiva Deus begins at that moment. The main event is the lighting of the arcane brazier in the center of Aurophia to offer arcane and ether energy to the gods so that they may protect Aurophia for the years to come. High Council Gouache brandishes a dark blue burning torch and lights the brazier.
Citizens, to another year.
However, something's wrong. Endless waves of streams of glyphs and runes surge out of the brazier. To pretty much anybody, this would be a normal sight, analogous to a fireworks show. But to the administrations, the high staff of Aurophia, this is not normal at all. This is very, very bad indeed. The streams and ribbons of arcane energy swirl around and around to form giant golems made from pure magic energy. They roar out a deafeningly loud cry as they very swiftly unleash hell and horror onto the citizens of Aurophia. Fire, ice, earth, void, all of it raised and destroyed and rained onto Aurophia. When arcane golems shoot out house-sized balls of fire which explode and tear asunder generations of culture in an instant. Another one shoots out the equivalent of a magical black hole, sucking all life into it relentlessly and growing ever bigger. Aurophia is destroyed. Aurophia is gone. There is no saving grace for the kingdom of Aurophia. However, no matter how intense the storm, there may always be a silver lining.